Ladies and gentlemen, my name's Stryftek, and I'm here to ask and answer one simple question. Is it worth your time? On trial today, Nobody Saves the World. Available on Xbox and Steam. I played this on PC Game Pass myself. Links all down below. This was made by Drinkbox Studios, the same team responsible for Gaucamelee 1 and 2, which, if memory serves, were incredible games. But I do need to go back and replay those and see if they're still good. Anyhow, they're also the makers of another game called Mutant Blobs. Nobody Saves the World is a 2D top-down hack-and-slash action RPG. I played this on a whim and was blown away. You are nobody, and you are going to save the world. You wake up with amnesia, and you are literally nobody. You come to learn that the greatest wizard has disappeared and the calamity has awoken and is destroying the world. You meet the wizard's protege, Randy, and end up finding a magic wand in a drawer. You decide to keep the wand and embark on the mission to save the wizard. Because Randy can't. No. Randy accuses you of being a thief and you are thrown into the dungeon. You learn that the wand allows you to shapeshift, and using a mouse form you are able to escape this dungeon and begin your quest to find and save the wizard. And that's basically where you begin. The main story continues, and it does have a few good surprises in store for you. There are also plenty of side quests that are absolutely worth doing, and all in all, I loved all the story I came across in this game. This is where the game shines. On the surface, this is a top-down hack and slash. Hordes of enemies come at you, and you mow them down. Now, typically games like this have you pick a class, like a wizard or a barbarian. They have you spec into abilities, and finally they usually have some sort of armor or weapon system. Nobody Saves the World takes a different approach. Your wand gives you access to forms, which are basically classes, and each form will have various quests to level up, which unlock more abilities. Once you level one form up to a certain level, it unlocks another form for you to dive into. Each of the forms have their own roles and their own strengths and weaknesses. The warrior's great for taking damage, the rat's good at poison, the archer's really good with the range, so on and so forth. Now, once you've unlocked a fair amount of classes and you've unlocked a good amount of their abilities, you are then given the opportunity to mix and match these abilities. And this is where things start getting crazy. You could be a horse who breathes fire, shoots arrows, and summon zombies, because why not? But those are just the main abilities. You also have a whole ton of passives to equip too. So in passives, you could make all your attacks poison the enemy, while making your attacks also heal the undead zombies you summoned. Your fire could stun them, and then you could walk faster. So the potential combinations end up being endless, and there's a whole ton of really cool synergies you can find here. But of course, once you find your favorite class and you start building out the synergies and finding just the right build, they throw something else at you. The game has a whole bunch of dungeons with random effects. The low-level dungeons have just more general effects, such as you can't heal while you're in the dungeon, or your abilities don't regenerate mana when you attack. When you start getting into the higher-end dungeons, they add something called wards. A ward is basically a shield on the enemy that they cannot take damage until you break it. The wards are visible above their heads and they tell you how to break them. But that one build you've been working on may not work for this dungeon, so now you've got to decide. Do you try to rework that build and make it fit into this scenario? or do you just choose another form, make a build around that one, and swap between the two? Oh, did I fail to mention you can swap between any form at any time in any moment for any reason, which may seem absolutely overpowered, but it really is not. This game gets tough. One great example is one of the dungeons, all enemies did 9,999 damage. So basically, everything was a one-hit kill. You were a one-hit kill, they were a one-hit kill, everyone died in one hit. And a lot of these guys are warded, so it made it even more difficult to try to hit them because you had to hit them with the right thing, and the damage type that they needed wasn't a ranged damage type. Anyway, I think I've made my point. The game does a great job of giving you flexibility, yet still give you objectives that make it difficult. And that's basically the gameplay treadmill. Get quests, kill hordes of enemies, unlock abilities and forms, mix and match, repeat. And they've done it so well, it is insanely fun and very addictive. I do wish there was maybe 1 or 2 presets for each form. Like I mentioned before, you'd have a normal setup, but then you'd hit a dungeon and need to swap it around. I just would have liked to be able to go through and revert to my normal one rather than have to rebuild it each time, but this is a minor quibble. My one complaint is that the treadmill died on me before I got to the end. Now, this could have just been a me problem. I really liked this game, so I played it a lot, meaning I was running through dungeons multiple times, swapping forms, and even going back to farm a little bit of money to get upgrades. With all that, I had everything unlocked and pretty close to maxed out by the time I hit the end of the game. Luckily, there is a new game plus mode for once you beat the game. They let you keep everything you've already unlocked, but enemies are now always equal to your level, meaning everything is difficult always. And then on top of that, the dungeons get totally remixed. So basically they turned everything up to 11. Admittedly, I did not complete New Game Plus, though I'll probably return. There's just too many games to play and too little time to play them all. This quirky, cartoony aesthetic is delightful, and the music goes along with it perfectly. Now, I totally get at first glance you might skip over this game, but the style really grows on you. So, is it worth your time? At full price, the game is $25 on Steam, and I finished it in about 20 hours. This puts my entertainment value at about $1.25 per hour. And this doesn't even include the New Game Plus. That should easily add another 8 hours or so. The amount of fun you get out of this game for $25 is a steal. And you could actually just head over to PC Game Pass right now and play it for basically free. Not a sponsor. Hit me up in my business email. And one thing I didn't even mention before is there is a co-op option. You and a friend can play through this together. That's probably how I'm going to tackle the New Game Plus. That way you have 2 people and you can find a synergy for the dungeons and whatnot. But yes, ultimately this game is worth your time. My name's been Stryftek, and thank you for watching. If you've made it this far, that means you found this video to be worth your time, or you've fallen in love with the sound of my voice. Both of which are great reasons to like and subscribe. And I'll see you next time on Is It Worth Your Time?